Good Meridian. How is everyone doing today? Oh my goodness. So we're off to a late start again today. I've just got so much stuff going on. In fact, I wouldn't have been on right now either, but I thought that I would see if any of y'all out there could help me with a task. Trying to get some crypto moved over. I think I have a solution, or I guess I have a couple of solutions, but one of them seems rather expensive. And the other is maybe delayed, I guess, could be a good way, and maybe there'll be some other risks or something involved. Zabu! How are you doing, Zabu? You are definitely someone that I would trust with this. Let's wait a couple of minutes. TuneFed might be someone else, and there could be one or two other people that would drop in. And I'm hoping to get a couple of opinions. And maybe I won't need to go through any other person, but I have a feeling that I might actually need to get some help. Hey, Stumposaurus, how are you doing? How is your day going so far? Sabu, and tell me about yourself today. How is your day going? Let me move around in this chair a little bit here. Sabu says, doing well. How about you? I'm doing pretty well. Just got a lot of stuff I'm trying to juggle right now, and it's a little frustrating, but I don't want to turn it into a poor me type of stream. Just gotta do the stuff I need to do. Let's see. Great. Not looking forward to going back to work though. Stumposaurus says, oh man, I hear that. One of the things that I'm working on also is trying to get back into my teaching job that I've been away from since the beginning of COVID. But I definitely need to start making that money again. And back in 2020 and I guess 2021, it looked like my crypto stuff was doing fairly well, but not at this point. I wouldn't say that I'm in any kind of extreme danger at this very moment, but you know how it goes. You don't want to even get close to that. So it'd be better for me to get back into my teaching stuff. Let's see. Joe, you need coaching in this game. Hey, Joe. I think there's quite a few people here that can do some coaching and some helping, including me. What do you need? I'm about to try to get some help from the community as well, and something that I need to do here. TuneFed is in the house. Welcome on in, TuneFed. Kind of waiting on you as well to ask a question. I'm hoping maybe you or Zabu or somebody else might be able to help me out with. Or I guess it's Joel, not Joe. Let's see. I just don't know what to focus on for my heroes, quests, summoning, duels. So, Joel, that's a really good question, actually. And I would say if you asked 100 people here in DeFi Kingdoms what to focus on, you would probably get 5 different answers, I would say. At least. Maybe more, if you asked 100 people. But I would say 5 reoccurring answers. And I think you've got some good ideas. quests, summons, heroes, duels, all this kind of stuff. I think the goal changes quite often from day to day or even week to week, as far as maybe some things to be focusing on. I would definitely say to, ask that question to the community, right? So I'm glad that you're asking it here, and I can give you my 2 cents. Maybe some other people here in chat can give you their 2 cents as well. And looking at other streams and content creators and just getting input from a lot of people, I think could help. I think one of the challenges with DeFi Kingdoms, as you say, you don't know really what to focus on, that I think is going through a lot of people's heads right now. There are a lot of things to focus on, and I think there continue to be even more things that we could focus on in the future, right? So DeFi Kingdoms seems to have a lot of moving parts to it. And I would say that there's no single best strategy for everything, which I know is probably not what you want to hear. You probably want to hear, do this, do that, do the next thing. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Unfortunately, I do not think that there's a step-by-step guide like that everyone's going to agree with. So one of the things that I'm noticing here in your question is you don't know what to focus on for my heroes. So I'm going to assume that you already have something in liquidity pools, which, if you were going to ask me what to focus on first, I would say probably get something into those high APR liquidity pools, might be the very first thing. Maybe get a collection of heroes, could be a second thing that I might personally recommend. Get a bot to automatically go and quest those heroes for you, so you don't need to take your own time. It's very difficult to manage 100 heroes, I would say, but that could be a good thing to look at, is to have quite a few heroes, more than 10, to start to build up this engine for passive income, right? So as far as focusing your heroes, I think getting ready for PvP is good. And let's see, about 1K in the pools, around 8 heroes, no eggs or pets. Yeah. So, man. So here's the deal, Joel. PvP we know is coming. I'm sure you've heard about that. You're probably hyped up on it to some extent. I don't really know, or maybe you should, I should just ask you to tell me. How do you feel about PvP as you hear about it right now? Is that something that you're particularly interested in? I'll tell you, I do know that there are a lot of people out there that are super hyped up on PvP. I'm excited about it, but I think for me personally, I'm a lot more interested in a passive type of income where I can live my life and focus on other things, and I don't have to actually be in front of a computer no matter what it is. I'd rather not be having to sit in front of a computer fighting heroes back and forth to make money, right? I'd rather just be able to plug stuff in and have it run and passively make income, right? But I do know that there are lots of people that are super hyped up about manually playing the game and clicking and pointing and doing all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to enjoy that aspect too, but that's not the way that I want to really be bringing in a lot of income, right? So you'll be interested in it if it's lucrative, right? So this is the main thing I think that a lot of us are looking towards. I work from home and I can tend to, so I can tend to fights and stuff, yeah. So if you're looking at this as a lucrative income-making thing, I would agree that probably every way that we can make money is going to be a good thing. But let me ask you this question. If you could spend 1 minute a day to make $100 a day, or if you could do something else in the game that would take an hour to make $100, or if you could do a third thing that would take 5 hours to make $100, which would you prefer to do? The thing that takes 1 minute to make $100, the thing that takes 1 hour to make $100, or the thing that takes 5 hours? Yeah, I think most people would say 1 minute, right? You want to take as little time as possible to make that money. And if you're in it for something being lucrative, we might be willing to do more work. In other words, if I could spend 1 minute to make $100, or if I could spend 1 hour to make $1,000, a lot of that depends on that thing that takes 1 minute. Could I do that 10 times in a row and make $1,000? If I can, maybe that's the way I'd want to do it and just spend 10 minutes. Otherwise, I might say, well, if I could only do that thing that takes 1 minute once a day, or maybe I could do that thing and set it and forget it, right? Then I might do that. And then if there's other ways that I can make additional money, like let's say it takes me 1 minute a day to manage a bot, and then I can make $100 a day from that. But then if I additionally spend another hour to make another $100, then I might do that second thing as well, right? So this is something that we might think about, right? So Joel, I would say, and I know I'm skipping a lot of other people, and I'm sorry about that. So welcome on in, everybody. Skiller, Freak, Crypto Keith. Welcome on in, everybody. Major, Todd, Kimmy. I'll go back and catch up in chat soon, guys. Just think I want to focus on this main topic that Joel has at the moment, which I think a lot of us are interested in. I think one of the things to do first might be to set a mechanism going for yourself that earns a decent amount with the least amount of work, right? And that's why I'm going to say probably get yourself a bot, whether that is something like the Waifu bot or DFK Helper, which can do a lot of stuff. Even though that's going to be a monthly expense, I think that the amount of money that you could get in, again, as long as you have enough heroes, could be well worth it. And 8 heroes might not be enough. Right now, heroes are pretty inexpensive, right, guys? Let's just go into the tavern. I haven't checked hero prices in a couple of days. Yeah, this is what I would expect. Looks like hero prices are back up to about 32. I remember a few days ago they were pretty low. I think either 22 or 24. I think I saw them at one point. That was really low. Buying heroes, I think, are pretty good. Jade is what, 8 cents right now? Or did it go up or down? Looks like Jade's probably at 9 cents right now, right? So if we go and look at this real quick, 0.09 times 32. Heroes are $3 each. You know, I would say, and again, I don't know everyone's financial situation, but if you were able to put $100 and buy about 30 additional heroes for $3 each, then I think you'd be a lot better off at kind of automating a tool or using a bot to automatically bring in a fair amount of money on a regular basis, right? And I think that would be one of the first things that I would recommend or suggest. So Joel, if you're asking, you know, what are some ways that I would suggest to do things with your heroes, I think one of the first things that I might say, make sure you've got money in the liquidity pools as a passive income. You don't really need to do anything with that. Make sure you've got enough money in there in liquidity pools before maybe anything else, right? Especially if you're looking for some kind of automated way to bring that money in. Once you have, and what would be a good amount? I think different people might have different amounts, but I would say something like, I don't know, let's just start off with $1,000 as an example. And if you've got $1,000 in there, then you should be making a decent amount of money on a regular basis with the high percentage APRs that we probably still currently have. Like I said, I haven't checked in 2 days. Haven't even been logged in 2 days. But let's go ahead and check the, let's check the seed box. And let's see what we're looking at. So the last I checked, we were about 1,800, 1,900, 2,000% APRs. I'm going to suspect, oh no, we dropped down. We dropped down to about 1,400%, I think, last time. After the last epoch. So yeah, that's where we're still about. We're about 1,400% on Jade, Ethereum. All the Jewel stuff is definitely lower. You just gotta be cautious of that. Jade, again, about 1360, 1350. So you've got some pretty high APRs there. And we saw on the spreadsheet a couple of days ago, I'm not sure if I've seen your name in chat before, Joel. You might have been lurking around in the past, but I show quite a bit of stuff on spreadsheets, and we're looking at, let's say $1,000. So you got $1,000 into a liquidity pool. Let's say the liquidity pool is only making 1,000% APR, and I say only because absolutely 1,000% APR is pretty massive when you think of outside in the real world stuff, right? But in 1 year, that 1,000% APR could get you $10,000, and we would never even suggest that we're going to maintain 1,000% APRs for an entire year. So I've broken it down to daily gains of $27 or a weekly gain of $191 on that $1,000. And even though we don't expect 1,000% APR to last necessarily very long, this is lower, this is being more conservative than the 1,300% APRs that we have right now. Right? So we should be getting more than that in a day or in a week. And if we're looking at this saying, all right, well, I can make about $200 a week for this week, and then maybe next week the APRs will drop to 800% APR, you know, when the epoch goes down again. But then you're still making $153 in that week, and let's say the APRs drop again the following week after that to 600% APR. So that $1,000 that you put in still making you $115 a week. And I would say that's quite a few heroes. And this is part of what I'm getting at right here is, if you've got a decent amount of money in a high percentage yield liquidity pool, then you're gaining enough daily value to be able to do the things that you want to do, whether that's buy more heroes or all this other kind of stuff. And if you've got 8 heroes, I think for me, and we can read what other people are saying here in chat, but I think the next thing to do is make sure, well, I think the thing to do is make sure you've got enough in a liquidity pool that you're getting really good daily income, right? And then I would also say at that point, buy enough heroes to help create another engine, another perpetual engine, right? Another passive source of income. And having something like 50, 75, 100 heroes is a good place to start with that. And once you've got 100 heroes, 75 or even 50 heroes, then I would say getting some kind of a bot, whether that is the DFK helper, waifu, something else like that, to help automate that, then this could be another source of income. And then at that particular point, then like DFK helper as an example, it can work on those duels for you automatically. And so one of your earlier statements was, I don't know what to focus on, questing, duels, whatever. And a tool like this can do all of that for you, all of it, right? So we've got a thing for questing, and I can send those heroes, hundreds of heroes out to do questing, and it doesn't take me any time at all. I don't really spend much time at all during the day to do that, right? So we're talking about how much time do you want to put in to make that much money. And I can also do duels at the same time, right? So those things that you were mentioning, don't know about duels or questing or whatever, then I think we're going to have those tools to help us out with that, right? So you can focus on all of it more automatically. If you're worried about doing something with a bot, I guess I'm not really sure I want to advertise bots too much. There is a little bit of risk with those, although there have been plenty of us that have been using these bots for a long time. I'm very confident and comfortable with them. I would say that a lot of, there was a time, I think in the past, even for me, many months ago, earlier this year, I did not want to spend the money on a bot. I was thinking, why spend the money on a bot when I can just do that stuff for myself? I have the time, I work from home, I can do questing on my own. I can do all that stuff. I don't need to spend the money on a bot. That was what I thought too. And in a way, I still see a good reason to maybe not worry about a bot if you're saying, well, I can do all this stuff myself. The peace of mind and the consistency on which the bots have been helping me gain that money on a daily basis has been well worth the money that I put in. So in other words, we're willing to spend money on heroes. We're willing to spend money on other types of things. We're willing to spend our time, which I think our time is more valuable than $100, right? Depending on how much time you're spending. But for me, I was spending so much time trying to quest 20 heroes that spending $100 to have all that stuff managed for me was way worth it. It was way worth it, because now I can take that time that I was spending to do this stuff manually, and I can do all kinds of other things with that time. My time is much more valuable. And the automation that the bots have given me has paid for itself, has paid for the bot many times over already, right? And I know that for some people, it's a hurdle to jump over or jump through. It's like, man, I'm just not willing to spend that money. Trust me, guys, really, if you've got enough heroes, and I would say 20 or so heroes would be enough. The more you have, the more rewarding and beneficial it's going to be to get some kind of a bot. So I would say, Joel, that might not be the answer that you wanted to hear, but I would say that's definitely the strategy that I would do. I would say, and this is the strategy I've done for myself, make sure that you've got some amount in liquidity pools, close to about $1,000 at a minimum, right? That will give you enough daily gains or weekly gains to get enough heroes to start putting together something. And then from there, those heroes automated with bots. And if you don't think that you have enough money at the beginning to do that, again, you need to think of it as a business. You need to think of it as investment. It takes money. You got to spend a little bit of money to make more. So spending a little bit of money on a bot, and most of these bots and services too, you can, like the waifu bot, if you buy the NFT to use the botting service, you can always sell it back. If you don't like it in a month or two, sell it back, right? If you don't like the DFK helper service in a month or two, just stop paying it, right? And don't use the service anymore. But if you're keeping up with your spreadsheets and you're keeping up and tracking your income and all that kind of stuff, I think, and if you have the time to keep playing, then have the bot do all of the automation stuff that you need, and then you spend the time to do other things, whether that is looking into proper summons or the way to summon with the genes or the traits underneath the hood. Learn more about that stuff. Maybe there's other things that you could do to learn to do things as well that could bring additional income. Like, as an example, one of the things that you might do is, I remember Grady talking about one time the fact that he was watching a lot of these different items going through the trader. And maybe another place to look at this would be someplace like DFK. See if I have a tab already open. I don't think I do. So DFK market data, right? So something that he was watching and that other people have watched is just the trading of the items, right? And how much they're going for on a daily basis. Like if you like, or if you feel comfortable watching the stock market and prices going up and down, then this is maybe something that you could play with as well. And when the price of some of these items goes up higher, then you can sell them. When the price comes down lower, you can buy them. And that would be maybe something else that you can do a little bit. Although I will say that even DFK Helper can do stuff like that as well. We have, they have a little section in the items where you can trigger buys and sells for that kind of stuff too. Again, man, I just really feel that some of these automated services do really well. But one thing that I guess I'm trying to get at right here is that there are other things that you could be doing with your time if there was a service that you were paying for that automatically did all that. So anyway, I don't want to harp on that too much more. Welcome on in, everybody else. I see Zelf is here in the house. Mookie is here. Bravo Slabs is here. Ferp is here as well. Welcome on in, everybody. I've been a little bit behind in the chat trying to answer a question. So Joel, if you have a little bit more specific question or additional question, I'll be happy to address that. But I think really that is a fairly complete answer, maybe even more longer than you wanted. The final answer is get enough in liquidity where you're getting daily income. That daily income should be able to buy you more heroes, and then also with the daily continual income, you should feel confident buying those heroes because you know that you're going to continue to get some income. And then you want to have enough heroes, and then you probably want a bot service that can automate that to free up your time. So then as the liquidity pools are automatically getting you income, and then as the bot service and using the heroes and questing and duels and all that is automatically getting you that income, then you can spend your personal time doing other things. But I think that the idea is to get as many income sources as possible automated as you can. I think ultimately that's my answer for all this, right? Yeah. And so, you know, you're asking more specifically, which of those should you focus on? I think you should focus on all of them. And the only way that I think you could focus on all of them is to get a automated service that does all of those things for you. And then if you personally enjoy one of those things more, by all means, you can manually do some aspect of it also. But I think really the goal for those of us, like you said, you were more interested in the lucrative aspect of it, right? Not necessarily the entertainment fun, but you wanted to earn the money. So in that particular case, I think the thing to focus on is more passive sources of income. You know, start with 1, then go to 2, then 3, then 4, and continue to add additional passive sources of income. I think that's going to be the ultimate goal, right? All right, guys, let me catch up here. Tell you what, guys, let me throw out, while I'm catching up in chat, let me throw out something that's held me up for a day or so in getting back online, and actually something that caused me to start a little late. Maybe you out there in chat can finally help me with something very specific. So here's the thing. I have got I've got a Coinomi wallet, and a friend of mine gave me some funds in Litecoin, right? So I have some Litecoin funds, and I need to get those Litecoin funds into DFK, right? It's on my Coinomi wallet on my phone, and I need to get that into MetaMask DFK, right? So Coinomi has an exchange built into it. And when I'm trying to, let's see the deal here. When I try to send 6 Litecoin to BUSD on Ethereum, it's going to give me $424, right? That's the deal. Let's see. So if I have 6 Litecoin, and those Litecoin are currently worth, according to CoinMarketCap right here, let's take a Litecoin real quick. Litecoin is currently $75.24, right? So those 6 Litecoin times 75.24, that should be $451 is what I should be getting. That's the value of the 6 Litecoin. But this Coinomi app, which uses, I guess, Changely. Changely is the exchange service that Coinomi uses, at least right now. And so I guess Changely has some of their own fees, and they're only going to give me $424 for that exchange, right? That's the exchange fee probably. Yeah, so that's the exchange fee. So it's $30. That's about a $30 fee from 451 to 424 is about $30 a fee for a $451 value, right? Which, if you look at that on its own, might not be that big of a deal. Some of y'all might say, yeah, it's only 30 bucks. Go ahead and pay it. And if that's what you think, then I'm interested to hear those of you that think that kind of thing. But what if I was doing 60 Litecoin times 75.23? So that's $4,500, right? And then if I do that, then I'm only getting $424, which is a $300 fee for trying to move $4,500. A $300 fee, right? That seems like quite a bit. And if I was trying to do 600 Litecoin, I'm not that rich, guys, but this is just, I'm trying to make a point here. If I was trying to do 600 Litecoin, then that would be $42,000, which is a $3,000 fee. So as you can see, Changely's fee is a percentage of the amount of money that I'm transferring over, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not like they're taking a flat fee, like a $5 exchange fee. They're taking a whatever percentage fee. And that's a massive percentage, I feel, right? $3,000 fee for trying to move 600 Litecoin, or I guess that is probably about $45,000 worth, right? But still, a $3,000 fee seems ridiculous. And so if I was moving 60 Litecoin, a $300 fee with that percentage seems like that's probably too high of a percentage. So 6 Litecoin, even though it's $30, I think the percentage is still too high, right? That's what I feel. So here's my dilemma, or there's my dilemma. And here's my question to y'all as a community. What are my options for getting Litecoin from Coinomi, right? So I've got this wallet on Coinomi I've had for many, many years. I like it. It's on my phone. I trust it. And I've got some Litecoin here, and I need to get that to DFK. A couple of options I can think of. One is suck it up and pay the fee that's way too high, right? Which is more than I really want to pay. Or I could probably try to send this to a wallet in my KuCoin. I think I've got a KuCoin account, but I think part of the problem with my KuCoin account is I haven't done this lately. I've got a KuCoin US, of course, since I'm in the United States, which does make a difference. So if I transfer that Litecoin to another wallet that's on KuCoin, I could probably get that in there, and then I would have to swap it for something else, which I could probably do fairly easily. But I have a feeling that KuCoin is probably going to either hold that money back for a day or 2 or 5. I can't remember specifically, But I do seem to remember that the last time that I used KuCoin, if I was trying to do withdraw, there was some kind of a waiting period for the withdrawal. Also, I will say it's been probably 9 months since I've been in my KuCoin account. And I don't know if there's been any additional KYC stuff. I think I've done a decent amount of KYC with KuCoin, but I don't think I've done everything with it that somebody might need eventually. I'm a little reluctant to give a whole lot of KYC stuff if I don't have to, right? I don't mind doing it in a couple of places here and there, but I definitely don't want to do any more than I have to. And so the question is, what other options do I have other than sending it to KuCoin, trying to do a transfer, waiting, perhaps hassling KYC stuff, or paying the high fee, right? That's the thing. So let's see what y'all say, and then I'm going to go back and chat and catch up with some of the stuff. It says, can't you just withdraw direct? I would send to KuCoin, buy Clay, send to MetaMask, no bridging. Yeah, so that is something that I'm looking at. Again, the challenge with that, I think, because I am in the US, there might be some kind of delay or pause in that. I can look into that a little bit more. But that is something that I would like to avoid. And then, of course, if they suddenly require, oh, you're trying to 9 months ago, everything was okay for you to transfer out, but now we're going to require that you send in, a copy of your passport and, how did you make your money the last, like my own bank was asking, not my own bank, I'm sorry. My bank does not even ask me how I made my money when I'm making deposits, right? They don't come and say, where did this money come from? How did you make your money last year? But Coinbase, the last time I tried to withdraw from Coinbase was asking me, how do you make your money? And I'm like, that's not something that I really care to answer. In other words, if that money is coming from my bank, let's say what I was trying to do is I was trying to buy some crypto at Coinbase using my bank that I'd been using for years without any problem. But the last time I tried to buy something through Coinbase, they had this question, nope, you need additional KYC now. One of the new questions is, how did you make your money this last year, right? And the way that I make my money in general is, of course, teaching these computer classes. But even my bank does not ask me that. I get direct deposit into my bank from the training company that I work with. And so it's a little surprising to me that Coinbase would care where I'm making my money, because legally, like if the government really wanted to investigate me, then they would go to my bank and see where those direct deposits came from, right? So why does Coinbase need to know that specifically, right? So that type of thing just really turned me off to Coinbase. And I don't really know how I feel about answering that type of a question. I feel it's a little intrusive. If somebody really wants to know where I made the money, like the government, they can go look at my bank sources of my direct deposits. But other than that, I don't necessarily think that other companies need to know that kind of thing. Let's see, Zelf says, Rock, you could try another multi-chain DEX for the exchange. Could take a look at smart finance DEX. So here's the question, Zelf. I'm okay with looking at like maybe another DEX, but how do I do that from, are you suggesting I do that from within Coinomi? So Coinomi has a couple of options. So I can click on it and I can go, and they have something called an exchange and they have something called a DEX. That are two options. The exchange is using Changely, which I'll pull up here real quick. Changely, crypto. I don't really know much about Changelly. Maybe this is it right here. And so Changelly has some kind of, I guess we could look at their fees, right? I'm going to suspect they've got like a 3% fee or whatever it is that makes $450, take out $30 for some kind of fee for it, right? So this is Coinomi's exchange solution, is Changelly. The other thing that they have is what's called a DEX. And if I choose that and go to DEX, I forget, let's see, it says Paraswap. Paraswap.io is the exchange or the DEX that they're using there for that. But if I go from Litecoin, or let me see if I can even select that. Oh, that was the problem with Paraswap. With Paraswap, I can't even select to change out Litecoin at all. It doesn't even give me the option with Paraswap to change that out. So, and those are the only two options I have. So, Zelf, I would love to be able to use another option if I could have one. I don't know how to get one with Coinomi. I am open to sending this money somewhere else. But that also means that I would need another wallet somewhere. I'm not opposed to getting another wallet. I would prefer to not have to jump through as many hoops as possible. So of course, if I could do something through MetaMask, I even took a little bit of time to look up how to try to get MetaMask to support Litecoin. But of course, since Litecoin isn't EVM compatible, MetaMask requires EVM tokens, then that didn't seem to be a good solution right there. So Zelf says you can send me a link. I'm down for that, Zelf. I guess my next question would be, I'm gonna have to create another wallet to move the Litecoin into some other wallet first before I could use that exchange maybe? Or is that gonna be an exchange where I send it to, where they give me an address and I send it to an address, kind of like a mixer, I guess, where I send it to their address and then they send it back to a third address that I give it, which would be a MetaMask address maybe. Sir Mir says send to KuCoin, trade for a Vox, cash out to, yeah. So here's the thing, again, I am aware that KuCoin is an option, but I'm a little concerned that there's going to be like a 24-hour wait, right? So Sir Mir, can you remember, because like I said, it's been like 9 months for me since I last removed from KuCoin. I seem to remember that there was like when you put money in and you try to take money out, there's like at least a 24, if not a 48-hour waiting period, right? If you already have money in there, if you already have money in KuCoin and you've had it in there for a while, then yeah, you can take it out right away. But what my real question is when you put money in and then you do a swap and you try to take it out immediately, I think that's where you run into the problem of like a 24 or 48-hour waiting period for that. Can you all confirm or deny that? I think there is a 24-hour waiting period, which, like I said, I'm okay with if that's what it has to be. I'd rather wait 24 hours and pay, $300. I usually do that and get a Vox with the Litecoin, move it to MetaMask, yeah. And then bridge it back to DFK, yeah. I know how to do all that. It's just no KYC on KuCoin. All right, so there's still, and we are talking about KuCoin US, right? Because that's another big thing as well. KuCoin outside the US might have different things than KuCoin inside the US, and I'm also going to assume that you're talking about within the last month, because the last time I did it was months and months ago. No, hold the last time you used. So Zabu, does that mean that you added new money into KuCoin, you made a swap and took it right back out, and that was in the US version? This was in May or June, cashed out an airdrop. Yeah, so that was, again, kind of a long time ago. If you want, you could actually, instead of buying a Vox, buy Clay. Yeah, I'm fine buying whatever coin. The problem is how to buy that coin, like where to buy it first. Try a small amount. Yeah, I could do that and just test with a small amount. I'd rather not do fees twice, but I mean, even a small fee twice would be better than probably a $3,330 fee. Let's see. Send it to the Garda wallet. Might be able to swap LTC. I don't know what the Garda wallet is. Is that a wallet that I could install on the desktop computer? And then then we don't even know for sure, but there might be a way. Coinbase with the feds. You would think so, Bravos Labs. I feel like if Coinbase and the feds were really tight together, that why would Coinbase be asking me for where I made my money if the feds could just look at my bank? Like I said before, feds could just look at my automatic deposits, my automatic deposits, and see where that money came from. It's not like it would be that big a deal. Never mind, I was looking at Smart Finance and it doesn't have Litecoin token for swapping. Yeah, some places might not. I hate myself for caving into Coinbase with info, but I really needed to onboard some of my friends. Yeah, so I did, Sabu, years ago. I gave Coinbase quite a bit of information, right? And here's part of the reason why I don't want to continue with Coinbase. Many, many years ago, I did KYC with Coinbase. They've got my name, they've got my social security number, they've got my address, they've got my phone number, they've got all this kind of stuff, which I think is a decent amount of KYC, right? They know who I am. Absolutely, they know who I am. And Coinbase does. But now they're asking additional information, and I feel like it's a slippery slope. It's more, right now, it's more of a, for me, it's more of a, it's more a matter of principle, I guess, than anything else. Like, I know that the feds could look at my bank if they wanted to, and they could see where that money came from. And so it's not like I'm hiding anything. But Coinbase continues to it seems to me, it feels to me like every year or two, Coinbase starts asking for more and more and more and more info. And at this particular point, they're asking for information like, where did I get my money from, that my bank isn't even asking for, right? Of course, maybe my bank isn't asking for it because they can actually see where that direct deposit is coming from. Maybe that's why they don't need to ask for it, because they can actually see where it's coming from. Whereas Coinbase only knows it's coming from my bank and they can't look any farther back than that. Whatever the case is, I feel like, Coinbase is continuing to try to get more and more and more stuff that I don't feel is, I just don't feel that that's needed. If an investigator or federal agent really wanted to find out, they could very, very easily just go to my bank and look at the deposit sources, and you can see where all that's coming from, right? I don't think Coinbase needs that information as well. Let's see, I was looking on Rubik, but I don't see Litecoin on there either, to make sure there are no discrepancies. Well, Bravos, I could understand, like, if the Fed wants to make sure that there's no lying going on, but there's no lying going on when the bank actually sees the source of the deposit. I could lie to Coinbase and I could say it's coming from wherever I made up in my mind where it's coming from. But I can't lie about the source of the deposit when it's from another legitimate company that's out there. It's not like it's some shady company. It's, you know, it's this training company that's global, worldwide, computer company that wouldn't really take any looking into. Jumid says, yes, Guardia is a desktop wallet. All right. I don't know if I want to get into something that I haven't really heard of before. I'd probably just go with KuCoin, but I will keep that in mind if I don't have any other real solutions. So the question would be for Guardia, specifically then, if I could put Litecoin in it, then how am I going to exchange that for USDC, let's say, on the Polygon blockchain, right? Is that going to be available to Guardia? Zilf says, I don't know, I'm not seeing other way to lessen the swap fee. Yeah. How on earth do are the tiers so expensive now? Bravo Labs, have you not been watching other content creators out there talking about tiers and how many green eggs are out there and how many eggs in general and pet hatching? There's going to be a lot of pets that need to be hatched, and pet hatching requires tiers, and there are not enough tiers in existence to hatch all of the eggs that people are going to want hatched. And because of that, and because people have started to notice that there are not enough tiers in existence even for that to happen, then I think that's one of the reasons they're becoming a lot more expensive. So hold on to your tiers, and I would say, I haven't looked at the price of tiers in a while, but I do know that the price is going up, and if it's still decent, I'd say buy the dips for those tiers, because we'll probably need a lot of them. See, exchange fee, 0.025% network fee, 525 USDT, those are fees on Changely. So 0.25 network fee, is that right? Let's see here. Let's say that the thing is $4,500, let's just say, and we're multiplying that by times 0.0025. See, that says $11. Did I do that right? I think, Ferp, what you're saying there is 0.25% network fee plus $5 USDT. There's, so that's not what I'm seeing. I am seeing a much larger percentage that Changely is trying to take out there. Anyone get phishing emails from Google Forms account being suspended for Bitcoin mining? I've got 3 emails with different account numbers already. I don't check my email very regularly. I haven't seen any phishing emails, but now that I've said it out loud, maybe there are some people lurking out there that are just listening. Looks like Zelf is having some issues with phishing emails and Google Forms. Maybe someone else can chime in and see if there's anything. I give 1 real-life tier for every 1 tier I use. Oh, Ghost Panda. Absolutely right. I feel that tiers are so expensive right now, people are crying about them. Tier price has been dropping. Yeah, I haven't looked at the tiers lately. Let's go ahead and just take a quick peek at DFK tiers real fast. DFK tiers, and you want to do Jewel, I guess we'll do. So if we look at that, oh, we had a big dip. Let's go back to 4-hour view. If you look at the long term since October, then absolutely tiers have skyrocketed up. But if you look at tiers for the past, I don't know, month, I guess, then maybe they're down a little bit. But man, I think that I think we might even see a higher spike than this in tiers. I mean, in a way, if you wanted me to just shoot something off the top of my head, I'm going to say this might be a good time to buy tiers, actually, in this bit of a dip that we're in right now. I mean, it's lower than it was earlier today or yesterday or a couple of days. Certainly lower than it was at the Christmas in December. I think Christmas in December is when Grady and Ogre and Brown Gent were talking about that on their live stream. And I think them talking about it actually shot up, actually was the cause of the tier shooting up and doing this little bit of a spike right here, right? But I would not be surprised if once we have pet utility, a little bit more pet utility, I would not be surprised if so many people would start actually realizing how valuable pets are going to be, that the value of tiers is going to skyrocket up even more. So buying right now, maybe another 100 tiers or 1,000 tiers or 10,000 tiers, depending on your money you have available for this, might be a good idea. Again, I can't give financial advice, but as if I'm talking out loud to myself, then I would say, man, it could be a good time to buy, because even if it just goes up to here a little bit more, which I think if we had enough people buying during that live stream that caused people to buy this, you know, up to what, 2 cents, I guess, then I think once pet utility really comes out, we're going to see a lot more people trying to get in on that. Let's see. Look, I or anyone here could take your Litecoin and swap it to Clay or Matic. Yeah, that's another possibility. I think I'd have to trust the person to transfer the Litecoin, but that was something that I thought about, is just transferring it to one of y'all, the Litecoin that I have, and then for y'all to swap it on a platform that y'all are comfortable with. Otherwise, I'd have to look into my KuCoin and just verify with KuCoin US that there wasn't going to be a delay and all that kind of stuff too. So, yeah, but Bros, I've kind of already given that a little bit of a thought. So it is possible. Swap it out, Clay, Matic, and just send it back to you right away. Yeah, that would be a quick and easy way. The question is, who do you trust enough? Yeah, there's a few of y'all that I trust enough to do that. Yeah, we'll consider that as a potential option, but we'll see if there's another option as well. All of a sudden, says tiers used to be extremely cheap. Yeah, they did used to be extremely cheap. I think we're gonna, now that pets, I think now that we realize that pets are gonna have as much utility as they're going to, and it's closer to reality now. And then I think that they're becoming more expensive. And I think once pets actually have utility, I don't think we're gonna see a drop in their value, in tiers value from this point. I mean, it's possible, but I think for a while, tiers are probably going to be even more expensive than they are now. I was thinking the same, Bravos, but there needs to be a way without having to trust someone. There's a few of y'all out there that I trust enough to probably do that. But let's see if we can find another way first, and then if we can't, then we'll talk about that. But yeah, there's a few of y'all that I would trust to do that kind of thing. Let's see. So if used to, but since the price went, tiers have been on the steady decline. Yeah, so hold on a second. So if you're saying since the price went up, tiers have been on a steady decline. So are you saying just since Christmas? Because that's the only time I've seen tiers on a decline, right? I think tiers have been on an incline at least since July, right? So you might be talking short term. And in that particular case, I don't know, since Christmas, and then we had a big drop on the 27th. I think a lot of people were trying to sell. I don't know if that's enough time to say on a decline. It looks fairly flat to me over the last few days. I mean, there have been ups and downs. I don't know. We came down to, what was it right here? 1.3 cents, but we didn't come back down to even that low right here. And it looks like we came to a high there, and then we even came to higher highs right here just over these last few days. I think we're gonna see tiers even peak above this 2.1 cents or whatever that we had right here. I think we're gonna see it even go above this eventually. Freak says, hoping level 10 questing brings higher tier drop rates. That would be good. Would like to see higher tier drop rates. Along with pets bringing in the tiers. Yeah, I think we do know that there are going to be some pets that do bring in higher tiers, right? I think that's been confirmed by what? Or who? Frisky or Hubert? I'm pretty sure one of those actually confirmed that there was going to be some pet that brings in more tiers or allows more tiers to come in. My heroes are my investment in tiers. Yes, yeah. Heroes are good to have, absolutely. If you don't find a better option, I think I'd be willing to take on Coinbase and shoot back a Vox. Yeah, we could talk about that, Zabu. If I do go through one of y'all, I'd like it to be as easy as possible for y'all as well. I don't want to have any one of y'all jump through a whole bunch of additional hoops and stuff. But yeah, that might be helpful, and I would be thankful for that if it comes down to it. Let's see. Tiers look quite solid to me. Yeah, I think tiers are going to be a good buy, even at this price right now. I feel. Let's see, CDC or CDC and Shoot Clay, but not sure how you feel about their spread fees. Well, man, I think as long as we could figure out some way to, if I was going to go through one of y'all for some help, it wouldn't matter to me what exchange we ended up using. I'd want it to be easy for y'all. And of course, I'd be willing to pay whatever fees, because I don't want y'all to have to pay for the fees. But it would have to be a decent amount less than the, whatever high percentage I'm paying right now for those fees. Bravo Slabs says, don't forget to leave a like. Help rock with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks a lot, Bravo Slabs. Really appreciate that. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm can be a beast sometimes. Two noobs. Hey, how you doing? Archer Alpha is so cool. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff about the Archer, I think, which is really good. Actually, I think all the heroes have some really good stuff. Is there a new alpha specifically on the Archer that you are thinking about? I'm not sure if I've seen a specific video on Archers recently, if there's been some new alpha dropped on that. Let's see. Don't listen to me. It seems. Yeah. Sabu, thanks also for having people drop a like. Really appreciate all of y'all's input on that. Peeps just watch. Yeah, so that is one thing. I mean, when I hop on other people's streams, I try to remind people to remember to like the videos and stuff like that. I think a lot of us are okay with clicking the like button, simple as it is. But there's a lot of times when we get so wrapped up in the content that we just totally forget, oh, I didn't like that video yet. So I appreciate when y'all say it. Let's see. And also, I feel a little weird sometimes doing self-promotion like that. Like, hey guys, hit the like button. Anyway, new Twitter post from Wisdom DFK. Discord or another. Ooh, wow, Ghost Panda. Let's check out the Twitter post then here. Let's see what we got. Wisdom Games, you say? Let's see, Wisdom. Wisdom Labs has a new thing on archers, maybe? Let's see what this is about. Our internal PvP testing ground is live. Woo! Nice. To celebrate another sneak peek, the Archer. I'm sure most of y'all have already seen this already. This was 2 hours ago. Most of y'all have probably already seen this. We have the ability list, the background lore, new animations for the Deadly Archer class, also compounded in the attached Medium article as well. Oh my goodness, guys. Here, let me drop a couple of things, I guess, for y'all. I'm sure y'all can find the tweet. I'm just going to drop this link specifically, since y'all can't drop links into chat yourselves. And then, of course, from there, you can go to the Medium article, which I guess let's take a quick peek at. I don't think I'm going to read the entire Medium article to y'all. But it talks about the Archer. There's a little bit of some video here. Interesting. Little, looks like glowing arrows there firing out. Looks kind of cool against some, looks like blubs or some kind of thing with little swords. They've got their own little swords and weapons there. Formidable choice for those who possess the ability to make swift decisions and strike with deadly precision. And again, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but then there's a chart here that talks about the skill points that you're going to be able to use for different types of attacks in here. Abilities like Fury, Precision, Marksmanship, Multi-Shot, Shroud, Piercing Shot, Rapid Shot, Sharpshooters, Piercing Arrow, Repeating Shot, Dead Aim, One Small Stone, and then just a bunch of others. Very interesting. Poison arrows, interesting as well. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on that. There we go. Oops. It let me zoom, but then I couldn't scroll. All right, that's fine. Wow. And then, of course, if you were an archer, then you get this masterful shot right here. Nice. Very cool. Next class, stay tuned. So it looks like they're going to be coming out with more and more input for this. I think it's great. It's good to see that more hero classes are coming out. I'm going to leave it up to the other guys that really get into the details and do theory crafting on all this to kind of break down what some of this stuff might potentially mean for us in the future. For me personally, I'm glad to just see that we're getting closer and closer to the PvP stuff, really, right? And thanks for pointing out the new link for the Twitter post. And then, of course, we can get access to the Medium article as well. That's really good. Definitely want to like this. And I think I'll even retweet it. Looks awesome. We'll tweet with a quote. Looks awesome. Looks awesome. I love archers. And I do. I've got an archery set myself. And it's not a toy. It's a real hunting bow and arrows and stuff like that. And I like to go out and shoot my bow every now and then. I would not say I'm extremely good at it, but it is fun. All right, let's see here. Let's see. I think the guy's tiers is a good bet. The only concern about trading the liquidity. Oh yeah. So not really sure what the liquidity is at for the tiers. 210,000 tiers with 16,000 jewel. I don't know, man. It looks like there's a decent amount of liquidity in there, right? I do think tiers are going to become a little bit more hard to find. Sabu says, no, I have yet to get my leggy archer. Oh, man. So, yeah, if you don't have a legendary archer yet, I bet archers are going to start to become a lot more expensive. I knew should have FOMO'd earlier. Yeah, guys, I really think that if y'all want to be getting prepared for PvP, and I know some of you really are excited for getting into PvP as quick as you can, that getting a decent hero of every class, maybe even 2 or 3 heroes of every class, is going to be good. Yeah. So 2 or 3 pirates, 2 or 3 archers, and some decent ones, right? Again, it depends on the amount of money you have to play around with, as far as, I guess, how, what you're going to buy, or the quality of the ones you're going to buy. But I would say start to get a few of those, because even if you can buy a low quality, let's say that there's people out there that can't even afford a decent legendary archer, even something like a rare archer, I would say I would not go below rare if I was really thinking about it too much for like a good PvP hero. Legendary, mythic, of course, but even there are going to be some people that want to play that can't afford too much, and they might be going for rares. And so even buying a rare and building it up and then reselling it later on, once it's built up a little bit more and that we know the quality, or we know what archers are actually going to be doing and they're playing in the game, I think that could be good. Sir Mir says, I happened to summon my very first ever mythic yesterday. Congratulations, Sir Mir. I have not summoned a legendary. Oh, I might have summoned a legendary. I definitely have not summoned a mythic. I don't think I've summoned a legendary either. So congratulations on your first mythic summon. Mutated to advanced class as well. Oh my goodness, even better. Congratulations on that. A great Gen 2 5 of 5 gardening summoner. Wow. Great way to start the year. Yeah, Sir Mir, congratulations on that. Man. All right, let's see. Edmund, how can I see if a hero is tainted? So I think one of the best ways to check that out these days, let's come over back to here. I think you should be able to, oops, mute that mic. I think you should just be able to check out your heroes. And I don't know if all of the heroes are set up yet, but I think in the upper left, if it was tainted, you should have a little mark up in there. Let's see if we can go to the tavern and see some. Come to think of it, and y'all correct me in chat if I'm wrong, but I do seem to remember that the dev team said that not all of the heroes yet actually have their tags on there. Isn't that right? That not all of the tainted heroes have their tags up there? They're still working on that. I think that's the last thing that I remember. That was a week ago, so things could have changed since then. Maybe somebody said something in Discord chat, or maybe they've finally made the upgrades that they need. And I don't know if there's not a whole lot of heroes that have been tainted. Something like this right here. At least one of the hero's ability genes descendant from the tainted lineage and may require reroll. So this is it right here, Edmir, or Admon. You've got a little tainted gene in the upper, or little tainted tag in the upper left. But again, those of y'all in chat, again, correct me if I'm wrong, or confirm if you think I'm right, that the dev team said that not every tainted hero is currently marked. Isn't that correct? I think many of them are, and this is the way to tell. I guess another way to tell would be to look back at the lineage, right? And there is a way to do that. I don't really remember the tool. And in fact, it might not even be around anymore, but there used to be a way. Someone can throw into chat the website. Even if you can't give the link, you can just give the name of the website. But there should be a tool out there that shows us parentage and like the lineage tree. And I'm forgetting that right off the top of my head. I'm not even sure if it's really still around or not. There's a part of me that seems to think that you can look it up at Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms site. Is it Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms that did that? I thought it was something else that might have even gone away. Team said it was manual process. All heroes weren't fully marked. That's what I seem to remember, Ghost Panda. Thanks for confirming that. That is what I remember hearing as well. That it was, they had some kind of a way to do some of it, but it was a manual process. In fact, I think that was on an AMA 2 weeks ago. Am I correct? I think I heard that on an AMA about 2 weeks ago. That it was a manual process and they weren't all fully marked yet. Let's see. At the very top, when you type a hero, there is a flag now. Yeah, but only for some heroes, right? Only for some. And if we're looking at ADFK, where is the place? Is it under hero data? That you can see the entire tree? Like, let's say I put in, let's just check this guy out right here. So this is hero, Crystal Veil. And if I come over here and put in view, oops, it's not right. That's not even right. There we go. So here is this hero. This hero is one that is tainted. So if I'm looking at Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms, where am I going to see that it's tainted? Or where am I going to see the ancestry? Let's check out ancestry. There we go. So maybe this red right here gives us our tainted. Let me copy and paste this for you into chat. So Admon, I'm going to paste this link into chat right now for Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. I think I pasted it in there. Did it go? There it is. And so this probably is going to give you what you need. All right. So that's probably the best way that I can help you. You're welcome. Let's see. Verp says, do you guys have any idea what stats do bards use? Yeah, so there is a way that you can look at that. There's a Google Docs thing. Let's do DFK docs, I guess. And the heroes. See if I can find that spreadsheet for you. Why is that taking so long? All right, so we got stats, equipment, blah, blah, blah. So, heroes here, stats, and I think there is a, oh my goodness. So why don't they have a link to the spreadsheet? for the classes. I don't think it's under any of these other little parts. It's leveling up. Stat growth breakdown. This might be it right here. Let's check this out. Yeah, here you go. So here is a spreadsheet that I'll drop for you into chat. And this spreadsheet has all kinds of things for the stats, and you should be able to come into here and look at Bard, which is right here. And you should be able to see a little bit about some of the stats that they might have for strength, and the Bard for dexterity and agility and so on. You can look at all those. Now, Stronghold had a really good chart that had all of the classes with all the different stats put together that I really liked a lot better than this spreadsheet. And it was easier to read, and it was just, you had to look in one place and one line, and you could see all of the stats for the Bard, for all the different things. Unfortunately, Stronghold, who does DFK Expert right now, has a coming soon for their website. I'm not sure why their older content they're not making available right now. I do not want to speculate on that, although I've heard some rumors. But whatever the case is, we don't have access to that content right now, unfortunately. So I think you're going to have to manually use this spreadsheet and kind of piece it together yourself. Let's see. What classes? Stay tuned. Haven't seen that class before. Is it a secret new class? Yes, there could be a secret new class, I guess. Two noobs. Archer legendary skill at 15. Got the thing called execution, where you can bring the enemy to heaven when HP lower than X%. Absolutely right. Yes. Everything seems to be important for heroes now. Yeah, so that's something else. When Joel was asking questions a little bit earlier on what to focus on heroes, personally right now, one of the things that I don't know if y'all have picked up from me too much on, guys, I don't know if y'all wish I would do more of this, or if you don't care because you're getting it from other people. You know, different content creators are providing different bits of information. One thing you might have noticed from me is I don't seem to be putting a whole lot of time or energy into the PvP stuff right now. I am kind of excited about it. But I think one of my ways to deal with this is we don't have the game out yet, and I'm not really sure where to focus on, and I don't really want to do a lot of speculation. I love to listen to the speculation. I love to listen to the theory crafting and all that kind of stuff and hear what people have to say. I think there is some good, you know, money to be made, if you want to even say that, where if you can get ahead of the game, and if you can recognize that these trends will be good, even just the fact like tiers are required for hatching pet eggs, and we don't have enough tiers in existence right now to hatch all these pets, then obviously if you stock up on tiers, you might be able to get ahead of the game and make some money off of that, right? So I think all that kind of stuff is very good. But at the same time, I feel like I don't want to be too much a part of that, where I'm making a whole lot of speculation for things that could change, that I think other people are making probably better speculations than I could myself, and all this other kind of thing. So I'm not really big into trying to spend a lot of my time looking at what are going to be the best heroes. I'll let other people like Mosh and Starbucks, the Mythic Squad in general, or Crypto Grady, or Ogre, or Brown Gent, I'd let them make speculations and then take into consideration what they're saying maybe do a little something. But I think ultimately, I'm not really even buying into too much of that at the moment, myself personally. I want to wait. And kind of like Brown Gent, maybe my philosophy is a little bit more like Brown Gent's in a way, in that I don't want to be involved in the speculation. I think Brown Gent specifically has made comments like relating to gold mining here in the United States, or the gold rush. You don't necessarily make your millions trying to mine for the gold. You make your millions selling the shovels and all that kind of stuff, right? So you don't do the speculating yourself. You stay out of that. You let other people speculate and gamble, and you make your money doing other things out on the side. And I feel like I'm a little bit more geared towards that mindset myself, where I don't want to jump into the heroes now before we know too much about them. Because I think as we hear more and more stuff, we are going to find, as Two Noobs is saying, it seems like everything's important for heroes now. The rarity, the stats, the genes, the skills, all that kind of stuff. I do agree with that. And actually, I like that aspect about DeFi Kingdoms in general. But I think what we're going to see is that different aspects of DeFi Kingdoms, and even different aspects of the third-party developers, right? So like Fight Club is a good example. The developers for Fight Club, the developers for other things, I am going to be making my own game at some point, which is going to prove my point in a way. I'm going to specifically try to make a game that involves things that are kind of out of whack on purpose than everything else, right? Like maybe something where bloaters are highly valuable, or some other aspect of heroes that you don't normally see would be highly valuable in the game that I'm creating. And the reason that I want to do that on purpose is to show that the value that we put on certain things can be changed at any minute, right? There could be a third-party developer that rolls around, or even you, right? Anyone out there right now could make a new game where we could have an archer where strength is the most important part of the archer, which of course doesn't make any sense in a lot of different ways, but we can make games that do anything we want, right? And depending on what part of the games that you personally enjoy, like I think for me, I'm going to much more personally enjoy PvE rather than PvP. I do like PvP, but I think I'm going to personally enjoy PvE a lot more. Dungeon crawling, exploring. In fact, I'm a little bit more excited about the dungeon crawling stuff that Fight Club people are putting together than the actual Fight Club stuff itself, right? A little bit more interested in the dungeon exploring aspect of that. But I know a lot of people are out there are really into PvP, player versus player specific stuff as well. And so I think each of us are going to have different parts of the game that are going to be important for us, and what that could also mean. One thing I'm really excited about, that really has me excited, is the fact, just as Two Noobs is saying, it seems like all these different things are important. But what I think is going to be really cool is when we have so many games or third-party developers out there or whatever, incentivizing different combinations of genes or traits or rarities or any of this other kind of stuff, or pets or whatever it is. Like another example is Bullon keeps talking about something that he would really like is to have a pets versus pets aspect to the game, or like a player versus player, but you're using pets against each other. It would be really fun. And I think that kind of thing would be a blast to see put together, right? I'm sure that someone's going to do it at some point. And so things that aren't necessarily important today could be important sometime in the future. And one thing that gets me super hyped up is a hero that you might not really like, maybe that doesn't, let's say that one person is really hyped up on PvP, and a specific hero that they have might not be a really good PvP hero, but somebody else who's playing and who values a different aspect of something to do with DFK, whether it's PvE or maybe some kind of fight club, dungeon crawling experience or whatever it is, that hero might be perfectly suited for some other aspect of the game, right? And so for that particular case, that's another reason why I'm saying, you know, if you've got a little bit of money, buy some lower cost heroes right now. They don't have to be necessarily the floor heroes. You could buy up a little bit, you know, something that's a little bit better than floor. But I think even floor heroes that we have today are going to have some value for something in the future. And so when I'm looking at heroes that are going for $3 right now in the tavern, that's just crazy compared to what they had been a while back. I think it's a really good deal on heroes right now. Let's see, the best way to go is to go to Discord bot and look up the hero ID. Yeah, that could be a really good way to do it as well, Ghost Panda. I think that would be a real easy way to do it. It'll tell you if it's tainted or not. So Ghost Panda, when you go to Discord, let's take that hero for a minute that we had. Is it here? I think it was this hero number. And if we go to Discord and we look at DFK Discord and we go to something like the bot commands, I guess. And in here, if we look up hero, so I think if we type /hero here and put an ID like that one and look at it, then you can see that it's probably going to say tainted caution. This hero is descended from a hero tainted, right? Does that... So I think even this is not going to always give us 100% accuracy, right? Because like Frisky or Hubert said, it's a manual process to see if they're tainted, and not all heroes are marked. I have a feeling that this right here is only going to say that it was tainted if it was marked. And if someone wants to correct me if I'm wrong, then drop a message into chat. But I think for this to say it, it has to be marked. Somebody has to have manually marked it, I feel. Whereas if we look at Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms and we look back at the ancestry, I have a feeling that that's probably going to be a little bit more accurate, where we're going to be able to tell, oh, here was a Gen0 summoner that was involved in this, and because of that, this is one of the ones that was tainted or something like that, right? And isn't that going to give us... I mean, even this, because it's a manual process, I do know that it's possible that even heroes that are within the range, they might have gained their transcendent abilities without the transcendent part from that hero right there, right? And that's part of the problem, is that some heroes, even though they used a hero from 1 to 19, they're still okay to continue to use. That's part of the issue. So that's why it's manual. But I think at least from here, we can see that it's a 17. We can see, uh-oh, that was one of the ones that is tainted. So it's highly likely that the tainted aspect of that, I guess technically you could manually go through here if you wanted, but I think that's a lot more work. I would probably avoid heroes that have a 1 through 19 back in their ancestry from original Serendale, right? Just to be safe. DFK Tavern is dead, but they added it. Okay, yeah, that's it, TuneFed. So TuneFed has all the answers here. So it is DFK Tavern that I was thinking about, but I'm glad to see that they've added it to ADFK. And it does look like it's pretty useful right here. So it would be nice if they had a different color for the tainted hero, just kind of stand out, just to see it at first glance. Team did say it was manual process. Yeah, that's what we already read. Let's see. And then I gave a couple of things. All right, let's check out this a little bit more. When purchasing a hero with the Elite Plus traits, I always recommend Discord command /hero to easily give additional information like the average stats, gives warnings if hero is from tainted Gen Zeros. But Zebu, let me ask this again. Maybe it's already answered down here further. So let's just go ahead and double check. For the Discord command hero to mention that it was tainted, doesn't that mean that somebody had to go through manually and marked it as tainted? Or is that automatically looking and putting a mark on all heroes that have a Gen 0 with a 1 through 19? And if that's true, then of course that means that there's a possibility that the hero you're looking at is really okay, right? I'm not really sure all the details behind what the Discord, I guess what I really mean, I think I've confused that statement a little bit. Let me just start over again. I think what I mean to say is, I'm not sure if the Discord message automatically has a way to look and verify that, because if it did, then the dev team would have just said, oh yeah, use the Discord command, it is always correct 100% of the time. But they didn't say that. The dev team says it's a manual process and they're not all marked right now. And so to me, that means that the Discord command is not going to be 100% accurate either, right? Maybe that's the easiest way to say what I was getting at. Let's see. I try to keep PvP in mind within my current strategy. Yes, I think that is a good thing to do. For all of y'all that are looking at heroes, PvP I think is going to be pretty important. And even if, like for even me, even if I myself am not super interested or don't think I'm going to be super interested in PvP, maybe I will be. Maybe I'll just love PvP to death. But even with me, even if I'm not massively hyped up on PvP, I still want to think about the resale value of that hero. All right, so I should, and I think maybe we all should, be thinking about what other people might think when we're investing or buying an asset. All right, so when I buy real estate, when I buy art, when I buy coins or whatever it is, I don't necessarily just think about the value that this thing is to me. I think about how I'm going to be able to resell it. And is this something that other people are going to want to buy from me for a high price or a higher price, right? Cheapest paladins are usually foragers and fishers, poor questers. Yeah. You know, one of the things that we've had in the past is because we've only had professions for so long, that so many people have bought heroes where they're better at their professions and they might not really be very good PvP heroes, but they're more geared towards being good at their professions. I think that's massively going to flip around here really soon, and you're going to have a harder time selling some of these heroes that get to be higher levels, because they're not going to be really good at whatever they're really supposed to be used for. Paladins, you know, you want a good paladin. You don't necessarily want a good paladin who's doing questing, because that's going to be a much smaller return. I think the dev team has said many times now that the way to get the fastest experience is going to be doing PvP, right? The way to get the fastest experience is going to be to do PvP, not questing. Right? Probably not PvE either. And so if you really want to be gaining a lot of XP faster, being one of the top players in the game, you really need to be focusing on PvP and not necessarily the questing aspect of it. See, my first collection is at least one paladin with each different subclass. That sounds like a really cool idea. There's Abu. I would definitely agree if you've got the money to do it, and especially now that heroes are like $3 each. that maybe having some number of each class with different subclasses, because we don't really know what might be coming down the road that's really going to be good, right? Zabu says, advice, don't FOMO into any high-cost heroes. I would agree with that. Like Mythics and Dreads, with the hope to bank on PvP. The devs said, expect many buffs and nerfs in the beginning. Yes, I want to repeat that as well. We've heard that many times. I remember hearing this on some other streams as well. We've heard it in the AMAs. I've said it myself on a couple of my past streams. I'll say it again as well. Guys, I would not encourage jumping in with high dollars into any of this kind of stuff, because we just don't know what that's going to be like a little bit further down the road. And maybe that's another reason why I'm kind of waiting. If I'm waiting, I might be losing out on an opportunity jumping in here at the beginning. I might not be able to buy quite as low as things are right now once it's already out. But the thing is, I think I would be able to buy a lot more accurately, which again goes to kind of what Brown Gent says. My philosophy is a lot like Brown Gent's in this way again, in that I don't want to be guessing what's going to be valuable and what's not going to be valuable before the final decisions are made. Even when the game first comes out and things look super beefy or overly nerfed, we don't know what's going to change. And so what I'd rather do is I'd rather wait and see, and then once things are a little bit more known, then I can kind of spend the money that I've made in the meantime, right? Rather than wasting it on things that are high one week and low the next week. I can put that money into something that's a little bit more stable. J-Dub, hey, what's going on? Glad to see you here. Fishy Foods back in the house too. Welcome on in. So who says rock? Okay, I want to say devs said that they're all flagged if they come from 1 to 19 Gen 0s. The tag on the card is what is manual, I believe, or not, so I'm not sure, don't quote me. So Zabu, you could be right. I do not think that that's true though. I could be totally off, but it would be super easy for, like, if these heroes already, if tainted heroes were already tagged, right? And that seems to be what you're saying, is you're saying that the devs said that they were already flagged, right? So if all of the heroes were already flagged from 1 to 19, then it would be super easy as a programmer to say, if flag is true, then print icon in upper left. Display icon for DNA taintedness in the upper left. That's super easy to program, all right? So I can't imagine that they would not be flagged, or that they would not be printed here if they were all flagged. I think what the issue is that not every hero, not every hero that is descended from a tainted Gen 0 means that that hero is tainted, right? So here's a little bit more definition and why I think that the dev team has said that it's a manual process. If it was that every hero that comes from a Gen 0 that was 1 through 19, if every hero that comes from those is tainted, then that would be a no-brainer. It would be easy to find the descendants of all of those heroes from the Gen 0s from 1 to 19. We could easily find all the descendants. There's lots of applications that can find all the descendant hero IDs, and you could easily instantly flag them. That should be programmatically super easy to do. The problem, and maybe you're right, in that all of those heroes are already flagged as a default, right? You could be true, or you could be correct there. And that maybe the dev team has already flagged every single hero from the number 1 through 19s to have some kind of flag on it already. That would be super easy to do, and they could do that. The problem arises from something I've heard from the dev team where they have said that if the transcendent ability, if the elite or transcendent ability got passed down from the tainted Gen0, then of course that taints the child, right? And then as it continues to get passed down, it continues to taint those descendant children again and again, right? But the problem that the dev team is trying to be super nice to us, and rather than say that every single descendant from the 1 through 19 is automatically tainted, I think they're making a bigger issue for themselves while trying to be nice to us, in that if there was an elite or transcendent ability from a Gen0, one of those tainted Gen0s, and if it does not get passed down to the child, then that descendant is not tainted then. And if none of that elite or transcendent trait is passed down, then that specific hero is not tainted. And so that right there is where the challenge of the manual process comes into play. Because if that transcendent or elite was not passed down from the Gen0, that means it was not tainted. That tainted aspect of it was not passed down. But then later on, if you combine those children with other children, and you combine those with other heroes and those with other heroes, and then you build back up a new elite or a new transcendent from, like, and you built that up on your own, not getting it from the passed down genes, then that is a elite or transcendent that, even though it was a descendant of a tainted Gen0, did not get the elite or transcendent trait from the tainted aspect of it. It was a human intervention that matched up the right pairs that got the transcendent, and that is still a valid elite or transcendent ability, right? Or trait. And so for those, and that's where it's a manual process. So somebody has to manually go through and see, did that transcendent trait get passed down, and is that why it has transcendent, or did they not get the transcendent passed down, it was lost, and then it was built back up from scratch? And if that's true, then that is a valid hero with a valid transcendent trait, right? And that's where the trickiness comes in. Fishy Food says, pick up combat pets if you want to be PvP. I would encourage that as well. Combat pets for PvP should be really good as well. I think that eggs, how are eggs doing for price, guys? Are eggs still good to be buying right now? I haven't looked at eggs in a while. DFK green eggs, maybe? Good time to buy eggs, Sir Mir says. And if I look back at this, put it on a 4-hour chart, yeah, look at this. Eggs are down. I would say it's a good time to buy eggs. At least the green eggs that I'm looking at here, but probably all eggs. Let's see. Fishy Food says they will be essential. The pets will be essential for higher ranking success. Absolutely. I think that is some good information to pass on. As I stampot my dread, oh man. You know, stampotting stuff isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think we all want to have fun in the game. And if you want to have fun, if any of y'all want to have fun doing anything you want, or if you want to try to beat the timing of something, I say have fun doing what you're doing, right? Have fun. It might not be the most financially economic best thing that we could have done. If we look back in 6 months later, a year later, we might be able to look back and say, oh man, it was not a great idea for me to do this. But hindsight is always going to be 2020, and we unfortunately don't have the luxury of always looking at things in the past. We want to make decisions now. We try to make decisions now. So JDub, if you're stand potting your Dread Knight, I say more power to you. Have fun, enjoy yourself. It's probably going to be an okay thing. We won't know for another 6 to 12 months, right? If it really was or not. And even when you consider on that specific dread, right? Because maybe some dreads are going to be better than others. Don't really know. But I would say as long as you're having fun and enjoying yourself right now, and you're not overly concerned about the economic aspect of it, which honestly, guys, I know a lot of us are here for the money, and you know, including me. There's a big part of me being here for income and investment and all this kind of stuff. But I also think that we need to keep an aspect of having fun in mind as well, right? All work and no play, right, is not a good idea. Let's see. Zelf says, I believe I've seen you on Father Fish's stream before. Father Fish? I don't know who Father Fish is. Rock, Zabu says, Rock, you were right, it seems. My hero S. Serendale 1, or Virgil Serendale 6-2, has a badge, but no tainted gene in primary. I'm no programmer, just a potato. Yeah, no worries about that, Zabu. I'm just throwing out there what I've heard. And things that I say, excuse me, things that I say aren't always correct either, right? And also, even things that I do hear correctly and I repeat, sometimes things change over time. So it's always good to try to get the most information that we can out there. Sarmir talks about good time to buy eggs. Let's see, Fishy Foods. It wasn't me. Oh, I'm on the Mythic Squad stream sometimes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good to see y'all around on these other streams as well. Probably okay. I'll take it. It's probably okay. Yeah, just have fun, guys. Just have fun. All right, guys, let's see. I read up. Looks like I'm all caught up in chat. So back to one of my original problems. I've got some Litecoin that I'm trying to get into DFK. And I think what I might do, if some of y'all want to help me out off stream and maybe guide me through some suggestions, hit me up in Discord in a private message. I think most of y'all know my private Discord stuff. Just say, hey, Rock, I'd be down to help out or give you some hints or suggestions. I think a couple of the suggestions that I've gotten right now is I probably want to check KuCoin to see if I can put money in and get money out, like how quickly I can turn that around. And also I want to see if there's going to be a lot more of KYC stuff that I've got to jump through, more KYC than I've already done. So I've already done a decent amount, but if I've got to do a whole lot more, then I'm not going to want to do that. So I think that's going to be my first step. And then there were some other people that had some other suggestions. So if you want to hit me up on Discord, if I continue to have issues with KuCoin, then maybe we can do some other stuff as well. And I'll look at that after the stream and touch base with some of y'all. Let's see. Two Noob says, do you think Crystal will rise soon? I feel like it'll get back to Serendale 2.0 or once Serendale 2.0 rally ends, or the raffles end. Yes, yeah, so that's a good point. Let's take a look at this real quick, guys. Crystal, what's Crystal at right now? 8.7 cents. And if we look at this on a pretty, let's zoom in a little bit more. Tell you what, let's zoom in a little bit more. So this is what Crystal's been doing since July, right? So we've had a big downturn, I guess, you know, just the cryptocurrency in general. We can't blame Crystal itself, but As we zoom in here a little bit more and kind of look more closely at stuff since July, crystal had shot way up for a little while, up to 40 cents. It's come back down. It came up here to 29 cents. Right at this moment, it's really, and I guess at the beginning of December, crystal really took a nosedive. Hang on one second. Still doing a little coughing here. So, at the beginning of December, the 4th of December is when we really see crystal drop off. And we also have to keep in mind that the 4th of December is right when the jeweler came around, right? And so we had a lot of people selling crystal for jewel, and it's never really fully recovered since then. It has taken a big dip down, and then it's come up a little bit and down and up. But right now, just like Two Noobs is saying, I think a lot of crystal's super low value is because of all the stuff going on in Serendale, or New Serendale, with the raffles and all that kind of stuff, right? So if we take another look at Jade, Jade is at 12 cents right now. I think the last time I looked at this, Jade was 14 cents. So if we zoom out a little bit, let's come up to 4 hours and let's refresh this page. All right. What's going on here? Why isn't this, can we do auto? There we go. So I think the last time I looked at this, Jade was about 14 cents. It was right around in here, around the end of the year, right? 30th, 31st of December is, I think, the last time that I was looking at the price of some of these things. And I was saying that we were looking at the spreadsheet, if y'all remember, those of you that were here, and we were looking at a lot of things. And we were talking about Jade right here specifically, was about 16 cents at the time. We talked about it going down to 12 cents. And I was saying, yep, in fact, 12 cents is exactly what I've got in my spreadsheet right here. So not surprised at Jade going down to 12 cents at all. In fact, you might even remember hearing me say that I would not even be surprised if we saw Jade down to 10 cents, even though that's probably not going to happen. And I also was saying that it's possible that Jade would go all the way down and meet Crystal at 8 cents. Like, rather than Jade and Crystal meeting in the middle, which I think was around 12 to 14 cents, I was saying that it's possible that Jade could come all the way down to the 8 cents that Crystal was. And it looks like, more likely than not, that's probably what's going to happen. So, as I look at this a little bit more, and I'm looking at your question there, Two Noobs, do I think crystal prices will rise soon? Unfortunately, as I look at things today, I'm going to have to say probably not. I thought so a couple of days ago. I thought that crystal prices would probably rise a little bit. But at this point, I'm going to say I don't expect that. And here's why. It could happen, right? I am not correct a lot of the time. I could be way off. But here's my thinking at the moment. And of course, I could always change my thinking with more information or as time goes on. But my thinking is that Jade is at a price of what it is. Jade is the token that's boosted up higher than it should be because of the raffle stuff going on, right? And so there are more people trying to do summons, and because of summons and leveling up perhaps, or some other stuff happening in Serendale, I think more people are interested in buying Jade and using Jade for summons than for doing some things in Crystal Vale. Although a lot of questing I think questing is better in Crystal Vale still. I think I've heard that a lot of people are still doing most of their normal summons in Crystal Vale since it's so cheap right now. And indeed, Crystal is 25% less expensive than Jade right now. So if you were going to be playing the game, I think a lot of playability is currently in Crystal Vale, right? The problem is, I think that we've had enough time go by that a lot of people realize that the Crystal Vale is still more playable right now than Serendale is. But we do not see Crystal going up in value, unfortunately. So what I'm seeing is that people aren't getting out of Jade from Serendale. They're not selling their Jade and buying Crystal again. I mean, maybe to some extent, right? But that's not really happening a lot because we don't see Crystal value really rising a lot. I mean, this is since the 4th of December, and it's down, and there's been a little bit of an up here and maybe a little bit of an up here, but overall, I would say that we're down in like the 8 to 10 cent range. So we're talking like 2 pennies, which when you're talking about 10 cents, I will say that 2 pennies is still 20%, right? That's a 20% fluctuation. But if we wanted to really look closely, then it looks like it's not really 8 cents to 10 cents, which would be 20%, right? It's more like 8.5 cents or 8.6 cents. And it only came up to 9.9 cents one time, right? For the most part, it's been sitting right around in here, maybe up in here, 9.4, 9.0. So we're talking about 0.4 cents or 4/10 of 1 penny difference in these ranges right here, which I don't think is a whole lot. It's a little inaccurate for me to say from 8 cents to 10 cents when it really doesn't drop below 8.5 cents right here. So here's the deal. Because Jade is continuing to drop right now, and Jade is the one that I think is being propped up higher because of the raffle stuff going on, I personally do not think that Jade is going to come down and Crystal's going to come up and meet in the middle like I had thought a couple of days ago. It looks like Jade is going to crash all the way down to the same 8 cents that Crystal is. And Jade's going to come all the way down to 8 cents. That's what I'm thinking right now, which is lower. I mean, that was the worst case scenario that I thought for Jade. And it looks like Jade's probably going to do that at this point, right? Because if Jade has dropped down to 12 cents right now, and we still have some raffle stuff going on, raffle opportunities with summoning on Serendale. And even with that extra pressure for the raffle, it's dropped down to 12 cents. I can't help but think that once that raffle pressure is off, Jade's going to be the one to come down. And it's possible that Crystal might come up a little bit, but I feel like best case scenario, Jade and Crystal are going to meet, quote, in the middle. And now you're talking about the difference between 9 cents and 12 cents. And what's the middle between 9 and 12 cents? And that's the best case scenario at this point, I feel. I think I mentioned in the last stream, and I'll mention it again, I really think that we're going to have some kind of an interesting issue with, unless the devs do something, and the devs could do something about this, but unless they do something, I think that gas fees are too expensive right now to really play very much in Serendale. There could be some extra incentives for us to play in Serendale, but with gas fees being what they are, I think most of us realize that it costs more in gas to summon and to go on quests and to level up your heroes and to do all these things, right? I mean, I haven't been paying, I will admit, I have not been paying a lot of attention because I got the bots doing everything. And so I haven't really been looking too closely for the last week. But some of you probably have been. And you might be able to put into chat right here and confirm about the gas fees. I think the gas itself is more expensive on Serendale than it is on Crystal Vale. Confirm or not confirmed? Let's have that in chat. So I'm gonna say that I think it's true. And Dr. J says, yep, gas is a killer. All right. So if gas is more expensive, then what are the reasons that we would want to be questing or summoning or leveling up heroes on Serendale? I don't think, if you have a choice, in other words, if Jade and if Crystal have equilibrium as the power tokens themselves, let's make sure that we're talking about, that we've got a good eye on this. We're pretty certain that Crystal and Jade are going to be in parallel with each other, right? They're going to be on par. Those two tokens are in general going to have the same value, right? That's how the game is configured and set up. The problem is that the gas fees that you're paying in clay tokens on Serendale are more expensive than the jewel tokens that you're paying in gas fees on Crystal Vale, right? And so I think because of that, people are going to do most of their questing on Crystal Vale. They're going to move most of their heroes back over to Crystal Vale once the summoning events are over. They're going to be doing most of their questing. They're going to be doing most of their summoning. They're going to be doing their level ups. They're going to be doing duels. They're going to be doing all this stuff on the cheaper gas fee chain, probably. Because why not? If everything else is the same, why not? You'd want to save money. And if you've got 100 heroes, then you're probably going to want to work with those 100 heroes, even if it's all automated, on the chain with the less gas fees. So the only way that I see that Serendale is going to possibly have more activity on it, even with higher gas fees, a couple of things are going to happen. One is DFK is going to negotiate some kind of a deal where the gas fees are reduced in some kind of way. I doubt that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. So the other way that the DFK dev team could solve that issue inside DeFi Kingdoms itself is to raise to incentivize, to more strongly incentivize us to accept those higher gas fees. They could easily do it, right? We talked about this in the last stream. DFK team could easily incentivize us to continue to pay higher gas fees in Serendale by giving higher drop rates or higher rewards for questing, or other types of bonuses for doing things in Serendale. Maybe for duels, it could be higher amounts of raffle tickets or higher amounts of reward winnings in some kind of a way, or whatever it is. But DFK dev team could, if they wanted to, give higher rewards, which would incentivize us to continue to pay the higher gas fees. Because ultimately, what we want as players, at least players that are trying to look at the financial aspect of it, we want to make sure that we're coming out financially ahead. And we don't mind, or we should not mind, paying more if we're getting more back, right? At least, I don't think most of us, I don't mind myself paying twice as much if I'm getting 2.5 times the amount, right? If I'm getting more, if I'm paying more, I wouldn't mind that at all, as long as I'm getting more back. And it wouldn't even have to be 2.5 times as much, right? It could be 2.1 or even 2.05, just as long as it balances out enough that that more is coming in. Okay. So I know that they could do that. So getting back over here to Two Noobs, do I feel that Crystal is going to rise soon? Unfortunately, looking at today's charts, I don't think so. I think the Crystal is going to stay at 8 cents for a while. Crystal might go up to 9 cents, but in no way do I think Crystal is going to soon go up to 12 or 15 or 20 cents. I think that at this point in time, the only thing that's going to save Crystal and Jade, to be honest, is getting out of the bear market, right? Or here's the other thing that will save it, and that is a huge influx of new players coming in, all wanting tokens that they can play with, right? So we've released on the Clayton blockchain, yay! Where are all the new players? I know that a lot of people were talking about getting a ton of new players in when we released on the Clayton blockchain. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great for the economy. Where are they all? I don't think we have them. As I was mentioning earlier, I think months ago, we were talking about this. There was some discussion on how much better or how many more players we might get when we opened up to the Clayton blockchain. And my thought was, we're probably not going to get a lot more players. I would have been happy to see a lot more players. But it's not surprising to me one bit that we do not really see a lot more players right now because we've opened up on the Clayton blockchain. Why? Because, as I was saying before, it's about the game. If you have got a bunch of people playing games and already invested into the Clayton blockchain, is the fact that we open up on this Clayton blockchain, is that going to bring in a flood of new players that are already got Clayton wallets and they just cannot wait to play some new game? I don't think that's the case. And I think that the lack of new players, and that's not like we don't have any new players, right? We're getting some new players. So we're getting a bunch of old players back that had left. We're getting those people back. But I certainly don't see 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 new players pouring into DFK over the last 2 weeks, right? So it's not the fact that opening up on a new blockchain is going to give it has to be a good game. People that already have wallets on the Clayton blockchain, they might look at this, they might look at DFK and say, oh, yeah, well, this looks like it could be interesting. But now what needs to happen is we need a good game that is fun for people to play. And I think that what we have right now is fun to some extent, but it's certainly not like a World of Warcraft game or a Fortnite game that we have today. You know, not bringing in millions of players. Well, that's the kind of thing we need. So we're waiting on PvP for that. I do think that once PvP gets released, then we might start to see a really high influx. And that's the type of thing I think we're going to need to see before Jade and Crystal rebound some of their value. As more players, as thousands, tens of thousands of new players come into the game, come into DFK, and then there's a lot more demand with a limited supply, that's where we're going to see Jade and Crystal regain value. And then at the same time, once the entire crypto market gets out of the the bear market, and we get back into a bull market, then I think we're going to again see a lot higher value. The rising tide raises all ships. Right. So that's my personal, maybe I'll end that. It's just about 6 o'clock. So maybe we'll end the stream on that note. I'll catch up in chat a little bit here. But maybe the deep bit of insight that I'll leave y'all with, it's not really on a good, it's not on a good note today. No, I do not think Crystal's going to rise soon. I think it's going to take 10,000 new players and or getting out of the bear market. And then I think Jade and Crystal will do just fine. Yeah. Sir Jewel Staker is here. Hey, Sir Jewel Staker. Welcome on in. Let me catch up in chat, and then we're going to wrap up the stream here for today. If anyone else is streaming or wants to be streaming, or if we know that some streams are going to come out, then let me know in chat who's doing what. I know that there's been several people doing some streams starting about 6 o'clock, which is about right now. I'm not sure if today is one of those days, but let's see. Fishy Booze, my bad. I kept thinking, okay, got you for that. With KuCoin, I swap into Avox or Clay to do my DFK wallets. Yeah, so again, Dr. J, I'm going to look into KuCoin, and my question about KuCoin specifically is, are they going to require me to do more KYC than I've already done? And if that's true, I'd rather not. I'd rather find another solution. And then also, am I going to be able to put in new money today, do a swap, and then take that out in the same day? And I have a feeling the last time I tried to do a KuCoin had a delay. Like, I couldn't put money in, do a swap, and take that same money out the same day. They had like a 24 or 48 hour delay on me with funds. Maybe I should accept that. Maybe that's not too big of a deal, right? We'll have to see how it goes. Thermir says, going for another 12 summons now. Give me another mythic. Yes, Thermir, do it. So, Thermir, are you doing another 12 summons on Serendale or Crystal Vale? I'm curious to know before we wrap it all up here. The worry is they probably wouldn't want near an aquarium. I might turn fish foods. Yeah. Dark Summit event would raise the crystal price by a lot. Yeah, so, yeah, okay. So an event would also be something that they could do. That is true. So if everything stays the same, I don't see crystal rising in value a lot. But yes, absolutely. If they were to have some kind of an event, whether it wouldn't even have to be Dark Summon, it could just be a normal summoning event, then I think any of those type of events could raise the value of crystal. Yeah. Maybe they release Profession level 10 questing in Serendale only. Yeah, Thermir, I don't think they're going to do that, but that would be an example of something I think that they could do to really incentivize Serendale. But I think we know that they're going to release it on both, right? Let's see. I like the idea of realm-only features. I do too, actually. Not every feature, because I do think that we want maybe 85, 90% of the features to be the same on both. But I definitely think that the game itself would help some of these realms do better if there were features that were only in those certain realms. And so even though as a player, I wouldn't like that. Like, I don't want to be forced to play in Serendale and spend that high gas fee just to get access to duels, as an example, right? Let's say duels was only available in Serendale with higher gas fees. I'd be like, oh man, I hate the fact that they're making me do this. But it certainly would, I mean, if I wanted to do it, then I would. And I would just suck it up and I'd say, I don't like it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, I mean, that is something that could be good. I wonder if there are other better ways to do it. But like I said, I think a better way, like a more friendly way to do it would not be to block people from doing these features, but I think it would be to give more rewards, like higher rewards in Serendale to help make up for the gas fees. That's personally what I would like to see. And I think that would just feel a little bit better to us players as well, that we're not getting forced into something. Swift Thistle is the only reason to quest on Serendale right now is a great example. Yeah, Sir Joel Staker. I think that that's a good example. And there will be some people that quest only in Serendale just for that feature. And that's a type of thing that I feel is kind of okay to do as far as incentivization for a certain realm. Later, everyone's saying goodbye. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Really appreciate y'all hanging out with me, all that kind of good stuff. There's no delay for me, but I haven't tried the new address lately. So, Dr. J, you say there's no delay, and you're talking about sending in new money and then swapping and taking that same, like, let's say you put in $4,000 today, you sent $4,000 to KuCoin, you did a swap, and then you were able to take out that $4,000 in the same day. You have done that recently. Let's see, I told you Gonna win a Gen0. Nice, Surmir. That's where you're doing your new next 12. Speaking of which, guys, I need to do some Gen0 summon, not Gen0, but some summons myself. I think I've only done one summons on Serendale, and I need to do a few more. I'm not gonna go crazy with Serendale summons for that Gen0, but I think I want to at least do, I don't know, 4 or 5, something like that, you know? Some small number, just to do a little bit. Thanks for the kind answer. There is there any place where I can see total hire and obtain, I can see total hire I can obtain from my account? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Two Noobs. Is there any place where you can see total hire you can obtain? Are you talking about like for your entire account? Like hiring out your entire account? I don't know what hiring an account means. If you're talking about selling your account, your total value of your account, selling it? Are you talking about hiring heroes? Sorry, I meant like the hired history in each account. Oh, I see. So like for all the heroes that you've hired, that's a good question. So does anyone know where maybe there's an easy way to go to see all the times that you've hired out heroes from your account? I know that, I think it was DFK Tavern that used to have something like that, but of course DFK Tavern is no longer with us. I do know that the bank, if I come to the bank and I look at history, then I can see the history, although this would be a very hard manual process, but technically you could go through here and look at all the times that you had things hired out. There's a filter here, and if you found out where there was one thing, you could probably go to something like, you know, pick your chain, whatever chain, you might have to do one chain at a time. And maybe you could do something like search for hire. I don't know if that's gonna actually be anything in there. But there might be a way that you could look for, like if we do a search for DFK Gold as an example, I don't know if that's gonna, I was trying to look for things like DFK Gold. Let's see if there's something else. Here's a bunch of contract quest complete, contract interactions, complete quests. If I do something like quest, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to look a little bit, and I'm just wrapping up stream right now. So if anybody else has some input there for Two Noobs, looking for a way to find all the hired history, you know what? There is something, Two Noobs, where I don't know how easy it would be for you to do, but you could come up into the Discord and into Tavern, is it listings? It might be Tavern listings. Then maybe there's some higher stuff in here. And I know that that, again, would be a pain and a lot of hassle for you to do, but you might be able to look up your name, like your wallet address or hero IDs or something in the Tavern listings. And maybe from there you could see a little bit of all your history in there as well. That could be another thing that pops into my mind real quick. All right, let me finish reading the last few things here, and then we're going to get out of here for the day. Appreciate everyone being here. Thanks a lot, guys. Try to do another stream tomorrow and answer some more questions for y'all. Well, let's see. Yes, your bank is a Coinbase, then I buy all our algo, then I go send it to KuCoin, swap it for a Vox and Clay, send it to DFK. Oh, okay. So Dr. J, it sounds like you're able to put in, I wonder why I couldn't do that. There was a time when I was trying, now again, Dr. J, is that with KuCoin US or are you out of the United States? Because it might be something just within KuCoin US that's the problem. I know for a fact that some number of months ago, I'm going to say 9 months ago maybe, that I moved some money into KuCoin. I did a swap. I tried to take it out and I was blocked. I had to wait. You're saying, yes, that is in the US. Okay. All right. I'll try it again. The bank looks nice. Okay. I'm glad that the bank looks like it could be a good place for you. The bank is good. Yeah, I do like the bank as well. And if the bank is going to do the things that you want to do, I think that could be good. Also, again, I'm just going to put out, you know, on second thought, there might be something you can do with the Discord, the official DFK Discord, where you can do searches for hero IDs. If you know that there's only a few specific hero ID numbers that you've used for summons, then you might be able to do something with that. I don't know for sure, but that could be something else. All right, guys. Man. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. Thanks for being here. We are going to do another stream tomorrow. At least that's the plan. And in the meantime, hang out, have fun, get your summons in. We've got just a few more days for the Gen0 raffle. Well, not the Gen0 raffle, but the cutoff time. Well, let's look at our calendar again real quick, guys. I'm trying to set up a calendar for this as well. Oops, not that. Is it this? No. I'm trying to set up a calendar for some of this stuff as well. And it's going to help with some of the DFK stuff going in there. And hopefully we'll be able to have something pretty soon with all that set up. So, all right, guys. Until then, have a good evening. I will see y'all tomorrow. Rock out.